Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about my fitness journey. I know that some of you have watched my YouTube channel and even seen on my blog about how I lost 90 pounds in the 2 years after having my daughter Ashton. But I just want to go over it again. The first year I was considered obese with a BMI of 36. I used exercise and a lot of veggie fruit smoothies, which was actually kind of a high carb diet. And I also went vegan, but by the second year I plateaued out. And that was really it was a huge struggle for me. And so I decided to try keto, and that did work. It did help me bring the weight down. However, I noticed that there were some other residual problems that came with it, such as hair loss, and I do not have a lot of hair despite what it might look like at the moment. I really don't. And so that was not fun. And on top of that, I also had cravings still, and so it felt like I couldn't keep that up, and so eventually I started gaining again because the cravings were still there, because I was having foods that ended up being triggers for me. So we'll talk about that in a second. So that's kind of where I left off in my blog, but when COVID struck, my husband and I got an RV and took our family all around the US, and we were having a fantastic time, and I wasn't even stressed out, but I started developing this habit of binging at night after everybody went to bed. And when I say binging, I mean full on, in the dark, so no one would see me, going to town on cookie dough and popcorn, cereal, until I was like super uncomfortable. And then I would, of course, feel horrible the next morning and guilty, feeling like I needed to jumpstart ketosis, because again, I'd kind of been still trying to hang on to the keto thing, and I just couldn't do it. I started noticing that I was starting a very scary cycle of binging at night, and then during the day feeling like I needed to restrict. So through reading and research, I discovered that sugar, and what I mean by sugar is any type of added sweetener, whether it's chemical or natural, other than fruit, and flour, so anything ground down into that fine flour, has very strong addictive qualities, just like a drug. And in fact, it sabotaged my ability to lose weight, and to keep it off, especially. And if you want to, do your own research, go for it. You'll be astounded by how sugar and flour acts as a drug in your system. In fact, studies have shown that rats prefer sugar to cocaine, and show worse symptoms of withdrawal when they try to take them off of it. Reading this and other studies, it became clear to me that this was my problem. I was actually relieved because there was something I could do about this problem. I could actually, take control of something that felt completely out of control. Now, you might be thinking, you don't eat flour or sugar. I can't do that. That's too extreme. And I get it. I would have thought that too, until I saw how much science and my own painful experience back that up. The truth was, I was addicted to flour and sugar without even realizing it. And if you don't believe me, try an experiment. Try to go 2 days without flour and sugar and see what your brain does, because it's gonna scream at you to get it back. And if that doesn't sound like addiction, I don't know what does. It's an ugly truth. I don't like it either. You can actually find out how susceptible you are to food addiction through the Yale food addiction scale. And I'll add the link down below. And so some people are less likely than others to become addicted to certain triggering foods than others. But there's good news. Just like with any drug, when you abstain from it for long enough, for me it was 2 weeks, you will no longer have your brain constantly coming at you, trying to get that food. And you get what we call food neutral. And so office cupcakes, no thanks. My toddler's birthday cake, like, no, not interested. And I'm not even missing out. I fully engage in life events without it. I don't feel like I'm anchored to the table of food during people's parties. Instead, I get to really just be there and be with people. So how did I do it? I originally found a meal plan that helped me detoxify from flour and sugar. I was able to become food neutral, like I talked about. But the thing is that the meal plan that I found didn't factor in my body composition, and it also didn't really take into account my activity level. So I went online to the National Academy of Sports Medicine, the NASM, to get my nutrition and personal training certification. With that, and my husband Todd, who has a degree in exercise science, we customized my own meal plan to my particular needs, and the results were dramatic. My body fat went from 23% down to just under 14% in a matter of months. And if you're not really familiar with the body fat percentage, that's a really big deal. That's a huge shift in lean mass and fat mass. And so that makes your body look very different. That almost 10% change looks very, very different. And we'll make sure to add photos on there for you so you can see what that looks like. It also means that I finally had a body that reflected my athletic nature. People were constantly assuming that I wasn't an athlete because I didn't look it, even though like that week I'd just run a 5K, and that was really defeating and painful. So the cool thing is that doesn't have to be my story anymore. The way I look, my outsides finally match how I feel about myself. And no, it's not about even truly all about other people's opinion, but it's about my body serving me the way I want it to serve me. So that means I can now excel in rock climbing. It means that when I'm bodybuilding, my body actually like looks like what I'm doing, what I'm working on. The squats actually matter. You can see the definition. So that's huge. And I know that there's a lot of people who are out there really wanting to have that look and feeling like they can't harness it. I've been there. So armed with that experience of tailoring just the right food intake, as well as an education in personal training and nutrition, I'm just chomping at the bit to be able to get this information out to as many people as I can, and help you reach your goals too, because it can really happen. In the next video in this series, I'm going to talk about how to harness motivation and maintain a balanced lifestyle. These are two big questions that I had from my last post. So stay tuned, and we'll be posting that video tomorrow. Now, here's the deal. I need your help. Please comment below on Facebook or on the blog if you have any questions that you want addressed. Also, if you take on my 2-day challenge of sugar and flour fast, and you comment about it online, I will send you a goodie. And who does not like goodies? Goodies are the bomb. So thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.